Picture yourself in the deep south of the late 1700s. The sun's beating down, fields stretch for miles, and the promise of liberty is just a whisper on the wind. For thousands of black men and women enslaved on these plantations, freedom seemed like a cruel joke, a word for others, not for them. But then, the world tipped on its axis. The American Revolution broke out and suddenly, all bets were off. The British, hoping to turn the tide of war, made a bold promise: freedom to any enslaved person willing to fight for the crown. Imagine hearing that, just a rumor at first, but one desperate enough to risk everything for. In 1775, Lord Dunmore, the royal governor of Virginia, issued his famous proclamation. "Join the British," he said, "and you're free." That offer lit a fire. Hundreds escaped at night, slipping into the unknown, braving swamps, forests, and the constant threat of recapture. 4 years later, Sir Henry Clinton doubled down freedom and a farm for those who made it to British lines. By the war's end, nearly 100,000 enslaved people had staked their futures on this promise. But when the British lost, the victory came at a price. Suddenly, former allies found themselves unwanted in the new United States. The British, in retreat, scrambled to keep their promise. They wrote down names, ages, origins, the very act of claiming freedom, into the Book of Negroes, a literal ledger of hope. Some 3,000 Black Loyalists evacuated from New York alone, bound for unfamiliar lands, the cold, daunting shores of Nova Scotia. There, they carved out new lives in places like Birchtown and Preston. They built churches, schools, and community from scratch. But the struggle didn't end. Promised land was often denied, work was hard and wages unfair. Racial prejudice and old hierarchies followed them north. Disillusioned, some looked across the ocean again. A new offer, this time from the Sierra Leone Company, returned to Africa: build a new society. It was yet another leap of faith. Some 4,000 Black Loyalists from London and over 1,000 from Nova Scotia settled in Sierra Leone. They became founders of Freetown, blending cultures, starting over again. So what did the journey of the Black Loyalists mean? It's a story of resilience, of agency, of people who refused to let history decide their fate. Their legacy: new nations, new communities, and a reminder: the fight for freedom is never simple, but always worth it.